Gotta fill my wine up a little bit.
I know.
Good morning.
Good
There we
afternoon.
go.
Today we're about to spit some facts your way, so buckle your seatbelt and really, really get excited because this is a great episode.
Great.
And we have been plotting for a while on this. So I'm excited for the viewers to just experience what we have been talking about. This is post-college.
This is post-college. Players, welcome to episode 4. Holy shit, we're on episode 4, goddamn, of Play Your Own Game.
Mhm.
I could not think of a better fucking guest than Allison Mcadoo
Thank you.
here. I mean, Jesus Christ. Do you want to know why you're so special?
Tell me.
Because I think the way in which that, like, our friendship has formed
Yes.
is a beautiful thing. We were work friends.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what work friends are. They don't last very long. Like, you're only friends because you work together. Our situation, you find the 1% that you'd love to be with.
Yes.
And you are one of those. And,
Thank
we've
you.
kept up this friendship even after she's no longer with us anymore.
When you have work-related friends, when you take that outside of work, sometimes you find you have nothing to talk about. Us, we had more to talk about because we related on certain things. And one of the big things that we related on is our experience after college, because Maddie and I are both go-getters. And we worked hard in college. I put myself in every single field I could. So I worked at a gym, I worked at a veterinary hospital, I worked as a department assistant for biology, and I put myself in so many different areas because in that place, you're able to figure out what you like and what you don't like. Do I like sitting in an office all day, every single day? Do I like being on the go? Like, you get to feel your different interests, and that's something that I took from college, is that you really need to immerse yourself in different fields, and those networks will take you so far. And that's what happened to me. I had built a lot of different networks, and then in the end, when I was trying to find a job after college, I had reached out to those people that I knew that had built connections with, and that was able to kind of land me my current job, which is in medical device sales. I feel like we both kind of like bonded over that, where we were just like, we've worked so hard and we want to see it come to fruition. It's like almost in college, it's like, is everything that you did up to that point enough to land you a job?
Yes. That's why you're so successful now. Like, honestly, you were way more successful than me in the last few months. Like, that first year after graduating is hell.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. Obviously, Allison Mcadoo, she's a very successful woman herself, which is why I think she has a lot of tips and inspiration for you guys, because navigating the first year post-college is very difficult. I think a lot of you guys are coming up on it right now. I've seen so many stories and so many posts about, oh my gosh, it's about to be graduation, and that time is such a special time. Like, fully immerse yourself in it. Like, don't think too far ahead of in the following months of, holy shit, what is August gonna look like? What is September gonna look like? Because I definitely did trip myself up a lot about that. I was like, holy crap, what am I gonna do? Like, after June ends and after, we graduate, what the hell is that gonna look like for me? It hurts. We've navigated it together, which it helps so much to have another person who is in the same state as you. That way you can feed off one another. And, like, we came to work with the same kinds of problems or the same kinds of dilemmas and thought process. Like, I would come to work and I would just be like, Jesus Christ, I'm applying to all these places. I'm not getting anything back. I'm not, like, nothing. And then she would come in with the same kind of stuff, or being in the same state as somebody else and going through it together and being really supportive of one another is so great after graduation. It's kind of hard to find those people because, you're not really in a college setting anymore, so it's harder and harder to find people your age to kind of resonate with and I was lucky enough to be able to work with you for a little while at our part-time retail job. Before we get into any of that, where did you go to college?
So I went to Cal Lutheran University. It's a private university. It's in Thousand Oaks. So class sizes were around 20 to 30.
That is so fucking
which
small.
Was great. And the scholarships that I got put it down to the same amount as a state school. So for me, I was like, okay,
no-brainer.
You know, I could get more networks, more connections, and get to know the people in my classes.
Totally.
So that's the route I decided to go. And it honestly was a great route. I wish that more people talked about it instead of going the UC route because your professors know your name, people know you when you walk by, and that was really great for me because I felt like I could build more community and just know more people. And the more people that you know is really good for stepping stones to getting your job.
We've talked about that.
Life is
literally relationships.
It truly is. Sorry. Yeah, and it's like you can sit there and apply to a million jobs on LinkedIn, Indeed. But if you know someone that can get you in, that's so vital.
The field that I want to go into, which is sports broadcasting, is a very difficult field to get into. Everyone has been telling me you need to know somebody. That did make me feel a little small because then I thought, okay, I do even know people. But the odds of them helping you it's a different story. You could know the founder of ESPN, but the chance that they actually help you and vouch for you is a whole other animal. So it is who you know, but it's more about who do you know that is going to actually execute and live up to their word. Life is literally connections and how you speak to people on an everyday basis. You never know who you're going to run into that's going to take a shot on you and give you a good word of mouth. So that's 1,000%.
We both got like part-time gigs after college because basically after college, a lot of people run into the like, I'm going to get a part-time job to fill until I get my big girl job, right?
It's the part-time job career search juggle. It's like you're getting a part-time job just so it allows you the space and the comfort to job search.
For my case, I was a biology major at Cal Lutheran, and kind of the
bio is such a path.
It is, and you're gonna go to grad school after.
Right.
I did not go to grad school. Because a lot of people, what they do is they decide that I'm not sure what I want to do, so I'm going to go get a graduate degree. I'm going to put myself through more schooling because I'm not really sure. And almost putting yourself in graduate school is like a comfort of like, oh, I'll automatically land a job with the graduate degree. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I took some time off. And I was like, I really need to sit and think because to me, it didn't feel right to just throw myself into more schooling, more debt if I wasn't completely sure on where I wanted to go.
I was literally going to say the money thing is so big. Like,
yes. Yeah.
You're unsure, which is fine. You're about to take this leap into 3-4 more years of education. That is such a comforting feeling. I know that the next 3 or 4 years are paved for me. I'm going to go to class. I'm going to read my books. I'm going to take these tests. Like, it is such a safe feeling. Yeah. So for you to actually decide against it, I think you took actually a very smart route.
Thank you. Now, I was finishing as a biology major with a 3.9 GPA, departmental honors. I was president of clubs. And I decided that graduate school wasn't for me yet. When you're in the academia world, it's all you know, right? And so sometimes you don't even get the space to think to yourself, what do I like? What do I not like? Where do I feel I'm strong? I felt like I was always a people person. I felt like I could always connect well. I was a resident assistant at my university, so I was like
dealing with people.
Yeah, constantly dealing with people, and I always held those roles. So
because people love you.
People put a Band-Aid over it of just throwing themselves into more school because it's more comfort there of almost there's a guaranteed job after.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to see, okay, what is actually my skill set? And
so that's what your intention was going into even Viore.
Yes. I'm very picky on who I let kind of have access to me. Because when you become friends with someone, you're giving access to that person. When you graduate from college, it's almost like, so I went to a very small school. So you're constantly running into people, constantly seeing them, and you kind of build that connection over time. But after you graduate college, you reach this point where you're like, do we actually have a friendship?
Oh, yeah.
Maddie was someone that I was very drawn to because she was a very kind person, but she was also a go-getter. And I loved that. But I knew, like, my circle, I need people that are driven. And also another factor that I loved about her is you want to be around people that speak highly about the people around them. And that was something Maddie did. And this is where my circle, I'm very picky because you'll find people that will talk poorly about their friends, and that's something Maddie never did.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, tell me.
Because people have talked shit about me.
Yeah.
There's just no need to put anybody down. Even if I honestly thought someone was weird or like rude or anything, I really try to like not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to not like hurt someone else's feelings or speak poorly of another person. I think it's not right, and karma's going to get you for that. So stay in your own lane. We've dealt with people in our own circle working that talk shit.
Well, when you are around another individual, the thing is after you graduate college, you really have a moment where you're choosing who you're talking to each and every single day. You're choosing your friends. So after college can be really difficult. Who do I really want in my inner circle? Because now you're not just running into each other and seeing them off of the basis of you have class together or you run into each other.
I actually love it. Like, no one tells you how great your friendships are after college. Yeah. I genuinely think my friendships are getting better and better post-college because you have to put in more effort and more time. And also you're growing as like an individual. I'm learning more about myself and who I am and like who I want as a friend and who I want as like a boyfriend. That can only help you in the long run. So like I'm growing, and therefore my relationships are growing.
Exactly. And treat your friendships like you are in dating. You'll be in situations, this is me personally, my preference is a lot of times how I hear the other person speak about their friends. If you could say that about her, what could you be saying about me?
Imagine what they're saying about you.
Yeah. And once you really get your inner circle of people that are only rooting for you and wanting the best for you, that is definitely a game changer because you will have people that are in your life off of habit. And that gets difficult after college when you're like, wait a minute, who am I actually surrounding myself with? So I will say my friendships have gotten better.
I think mine are aging like fine wine.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And they might be fewer. They might be fewer. In college,
quality over quantity. Cheers to that.
Quality over fucking quantity. Absolutely. She graduated from
Cal Lutheran University. Yep.
I graduated from UCSB, and I didn't even have a plan. After graduating, I took it as far as June. I literally took it as far as June, and I was just like, okay, walk the stage, get your diploma, and I was moving back home. A lot of people were traveling, or maybe a lot of people had an internship, or they had a job, which good for them. people had their plans. I definitely didn't. My only plan was to be like, make it to the stage, have a fun fucking graduation, because I didn't have a great college experience like most of the time. So I just wanted to soak in the graduation period, and I did.
Right.
So no plan. I knew I was going back home, and I knew I was going to be applying to jobs. And that was as far as I took it. And I ended up back here in Thousand Oaks. I decided to work at Viore, which is, if you don't know, it's like an athletic clothing company.
Yep.
It is a great space to work in, and such a good little part-time job while you're figuring it out. And again, like we said, it's like that part-time job juggle between that, which it's allowing you just the space to job hunt. Like, obviously, that's not where we're ending up.
No,
obviously.
It's a filler.
It's a filler. The only problem with, not the problem, but as like, at least for me, I don't know how it was for you, but like the first few months upon graduating were so different for me than the middle or the last few months. Like, obviously, we graduated in June.
Right.
So we're coming up on June in a few months. And like the first few were so, oh, this is normal. Like, I just graduated. Yep. Don't put any pressure on me. Of course I'm working a part-time job. And then the middle sets in and you're just like, shit, I'm still working here. And then even the tail end sets in and you're like, where the fuck am I in life right now?
It's one of those moments when you graduate, you're in the gradual period of, I have a filler job. But then as those months creep on, we're almost coming up on 1 year from graduation. You start to itch a little bit. Because you're thinking, I'm a college graduate. I know how much I've put into this. And I want a stable, good job that really gets me up every single day. And I'm excited. It's not only hard to get like your first job out of college, like any job out of college, but then factor in something that you're remotely passionate about. Like, it is so fucking difficult. And everyone told me, Madison, like, it always takes like at least a year to get your first job out of college. Like, do you know how hard it is to get your first job out of college? And you listen to it, you think on it, but you never think it's going to be you. Like, you don't think it's going to be you. You think you're going to get a good job. It's going to be exactly what you want. Like, it's not going to make a lot of money, but it's going to get you in a good door. Like, you think it's going to come up a lot quicker. It didn't for me. I feel like it did for you. Well, you're in this middle period. Because it's the gray area. So after graduating, we're now at a minimum wage job. But it gets difficult when you're sending in application after application. You know your worth and you know what you can bring to the table. But it's difficult when you're not getting the job. You're not landing it. You're doing interview after interview and you're not landing it. And that's the difficult part after college. You go on LinkedIn and you see everyone's getting a job. Everyone's landing this great job and it's not happening for you. Don't get me started on fucking LinkedIn. No. LinkedIn is Instagram. Yeah. Showing how amazing everybody's life is. Everything is perfect. Everything is beautiful. Shut the fuck up. I'm literally going to express, honestly, how hard it has been. Like, to get, like, LinkedIn is so false and so fake and so like the perfect end of things, like missing the whole journey that's been laying before. I wish people were a little more honest. Like, post about the tail end of post grad, like literally still feeling down on yourself and not getting any bites on like of what you're putting out there. Like, be honest with yourself. Getting a job post college, any job, landing it is fucking difficult. But working with people that never went to college is kind of difficult, but it's so normal. Like, obviously, you just graduated. You feel really good about it. Like, I'm working this part-time gig. I just graduated from a great university. I have my head on my shoulders. I know what it is I want to do. You feel really good about it. But the next few months, like, once you're hitting November is when you're itching. I'm at November. I'm at December. And I still haven't landed that job. And you're sitting at the point of comparison where you're like, this person landed this person landed this. Like, you're on LinkedIn. where Maddie and I were standing is we're two competent individuals.
Yeah.
And sitting in a minimum wage job, it felt insulting. I am someone that I really can read someone's energy. Maddie was a star. She was always giving it her best. And it's a minimum wage job. And like, I reached the point.
It's a sales job.
Yeah, I reached the point where I was like, you know what? Like, I don't know if I can be giving this my 100.
She, mind you, running it back, she was there for 2 months.
2 months.
She came on after me. By the way, I'm still with this company. There are so many opportunities, like unseen opportunities within what it is that you're doing. There's so many people that you could meet when you're outgoing. Guess what? They're going to love you, they're going to buy from you, and they're going to give you a contact of somebody that they want you to hit up relating to the career field that you want to go into.
Yep.
So I did take advantage of our job because where we worked is a very
high-end clientele. You have very high-end people that are coming in.
Yes. We had like ex-pro NFL players. We had pro NFL players come in. We had head coaches that worked in ESPN. Definitely try and give 100% to any role that you have outside and post-college, because honestly, you truly never know where that's going to lead. And there's so many invisible strings and unseen opportunities in each interaction that you have. When I got really good news about my career opportunities, I immediately thought of you. And that is such a great feeling to have somebody that you're so excited to tell them about your potential opportunity, because you know in your heart of hearts that they will A, support you, and B, understand the journey that has been prior. Not turn it around on them, not be like, oh, that reminds me of a time when no, we'll literally just focus on you and be very supportive of you.
I think that's very valuable, where your relationships go after college. And some taper off. And that is good that they were there at that point in your life. But then you reach a point where you're like, who do I see in my inner circle? Your inner circle makes you who you are. And Maddie is someone that is very driven. She's kind. She has a great work ethic, and it inspires me. And that's who I want around me. That's who I want around me.
Guys, I'm crying. I want to talk about not only the friendships that you're making post-college in that first year. I want to talk about the relationships, because it's a whole other beast. What has been your experience?
I'm someone that I'm very picky, and it's just like, if we don't click, we don't click.
We met?
Yeah.
Miss Pickerton.
I honestly, there was a guy that raised my standards off of the floor. He would take me to dinner. He would open my door. Snapchat wasn't his main form of communication, and I was like into it. But he
texted you?
He would text me all the time. Was very responsive, great. But did I feel that we necessarily clicked? No. He bought me shoes. He would take us to dinners. He would text me, good morning.
Text her good morning.
Eventually, I realized that maybe my cup wasn't being filled after, because something Maddie and I talk about is in friendships, when you feel great after. But I was so confused with this man, because he gave me everything I wanted, but I just didn't feel like we clicked. It's an unspoken feeling that you feel. So I didn't want to waste his time. We were together for 3 weeks officially. We were talking since November, but officially we were together 3 weeks, and it just was not clicking for me. And I was
felt it.
I felt it.
And she filmed the breakup.
So I want to highlight on some points, because I feel like it's a great point of discussion, everything that this man said in the audio recording, that I just want us to debrief and talk about. His argument in this was, you need to get to know each other more. We had known each other since November. It is now
to really like somebody.
Yes. And then I broke up with him end of February, and I just personally, I have felt that innate spark with one another. And we had discussed that even just in our friendship, where sometimes you just have a spark in a friendship, but you have a spark in a relationship. And yes, he did all the right things and all the correct things, but he just, at the end of the day, didn't excite me and get me giddy. Have you felt that before, where it's just an unspoken connection? There's chemistry there, it's through the roof. But this guy on the other side of things is saying you need to get to know each other more.
That's such a hard comparison. I think once you have felt that level of instant spark, you compare all else to that. I do agree with the fact that you do need to get to know somebody, because at the end of the day, like, you don't know them, you don't know their story. Like, a lot of things can entice you, like, when you know more about somebody. I've had instances where I've been enthralled right off the bat, and I think it's going to last a lot longer, and I'm still figuring that out as I go.
Maddie and I are hitting the age range of 25 to 27 because that is when the frontal lobe is a little bit more developed. And us as women, it's developed a little bit sooner than you men. But unfortunately, I am very in love with the male species, so I'm going to have to adapt. You just have to find what really suits you, and things are going to come to you naturally. And whether that's friendships, relationships, or a job, things will come to you, and you know how you feel when something just clicks. It's a feeling that's unspoken and you don't really know how to explain it. And I really think that's how you should take the year after college, is try those things, and don't feel pressured when you see everyone else around you, quote unquote, has it together, or they're in that program. Well, that may work for them, but you need to look at what works for you. And it's okay if you can't figure out what works for you. We're here in an, I wouldn't say untraditional, but we're being honest about where it hasn't worked out for us, and eventually it has, and we've stuck it through, and we've stuck through connecting to our networks. And it's okay if you don't know what you want, but you are going to learn what is working for you and what isn't. If you're giving your 100%, something will come, even when you don't even think there's a shot that it will come.
It's March.
Yeah.
I have not seen any bit of, like, promise and hope, and, like, I'm finally seeing it, and it's been, like, a week.
It may take months for you to land that, but I want you to sit and think and really make sure that that is for you, because the people that figure it out, maybe they have the job lined up 1 month after college.
It's not you.
You can't sit and compare yourself to that. And maybe that person, it's their dream job, whatever, but it took me months to find mine, and it is okay.
I could not think of a better person to just give her perspective, and someone who I honestly have envied and, like, looked up to in my first year post-college. I'm so glad that you guys could hear her outlook and her take on the first year post-graduation.
Let us know what you think on it, and let us know if you are experiencing the same things that we are. And if you're about to graduate, please know, listen to this episode and know that we hear you, we see you, and we've been through it.
This has been Play Your Own Game with Allison Mcadoo. I'm Madison Schwartz. Cheers!
Cheers.